Money's moving. They're just not telling you yet. W3BC Morning Macro. ETF flows, yeah, they stacking again. Longest streak since October, money backing it in. But city talking down, cutting targets real quick, saying regs ain't clear, so they sitting on the bench. Two stories, same chart, different lens. Retail sees fear, smart money leans in. Yeah, the price might shake, headlines lag behind, but the flow don't lie, read between the lines. They waiting, but the market don't pause. They watching while we breaking the laws. Institutions waiting, markets still moving. We don't need permission. We already proven FEF fluid, capital grooving. Got a time, they ready. We already doing way macro. Yeah, we locked in the zone. By the time they catch it, we already gone. Clear rules coming, yeah, you see the shift. Global frameworks say adoption's the gift. That's fixate moving. Tighter lanes get drawn as the peers say build it. Come on, tokenized stocks, that next big wave. From Wall Street rails to on-chain plays. They talk compliance, we talk speed. Different timelines, same end need. They cautious, but the door's unlocked. They talking while the system's built on blocks. Institutions waiting, markets still moving. We don't need permission. We already proven ETF flowing, capital growing. By the time they ready, we already doing way macro. Yeah, we locked in the zone. By the time they catch it, we already gone. Banks on chain, yeah, Versa made the move. Deposits tokenized, now we changing the groove. Credit markets crack, hear the whispers get loud. If the system shakes, Bitcoin standing proud. Morgan Stanley say the worst might be through. Correction near the end, now what we gon' do? If liquidity flips and the pressure unwinds, the next leg up, gonna leave them behind. Quiet build, loud result, old system under assault. We don't wait, we align with the shift every time. Institutions waiting, markets still moving. We don't need permission. We already proven things go on chain. Yeah, the future's brewing. By the time they're ready, we already do. We going macro. Yeah, we set the tone. By the time they catch it, we already go. And yeah, even Shot made the ETF list. So tell me, what cycle you think we in?
Yo, what's up, fam? Hope you're doing well. GM. It is 8 o'clock here on the East Coast, 8:05 after our little intro jam.
Money's
They're kind of spilling the news.
They're just not
Yeah, a
telling
little
you
bit.
yet.
Letting you know what's going on. I have fun putting that together and listening to that. Listening to the news in song format, especially thanks to our guy DJ Brian telling us to do some Ibiza chill. Definitely been vibing to that. GM. Some coffee. Get it while it's hot, baby. It is the morning. We need to caffeinate those brains, get them ready to roll. If you are a caffeine person. Some people like tea, some people don't like caffeine, and that is A-okay. Good morning. Appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much. Make sure you smash the like button on your way in. And number one thing you can do to help me out, help this channel grow and all that stuff is just smash the like and throw a comment down in the chat. The algorithm will be like, yo, what's going on here? Let's send some people. So let's get that rolling. Appreciate you guys. We are live on X, on YouTube, and LinkedIn. Over the course of like the next, I don't know, little bit here, we'll look at some other platforms. If you've got any decentralized platforms or some other platforms you guys think that I should be streaming to, drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. Drop it like it's hot. 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 So I'm sorry about I'm way too old to be doing stuff like that. See, we got the crew in the building today. GM, Adventureful Mama in the building. Dropping the chat ski. Let's go. Woo. That's proof, boys, that we got at least one girl listening. Yes. She just happens to be my wife. And my mom. I think my mom listens too, so that's two. We definitely have an audience of at least two ladies that I have brought to the table. I would ask you to do the same. Invite, and it doesn't have to be ladies, but invite your people. This is a great time to do that. If you're watching on X, you should repost the video, tag your friends, be like, yo, come on, we're about to get into the morning macro here. We're about to look at some news, about to look at some charts, all that stuff. We're going to talk about what is going on in the market today, because I feel like I'm just not sure that this is the one. I'm not sure that this is the actual pump. I think we're just getting a little bit of a relief rally. We'll check the timelines. We'll check all the zones. We'll check the long. We'll check the short. We'll figure it out. We definitely want to hopefully get some trades in today. Today is Tuesday. This is going to be probably a rock and rolling day. Definitely going to trade the 9:30 time frame on the 15-minute chart today. Whenever it makes it move, and if we got to cut and do a stop loss and get back in and find a new entry, all that stuff, we're gonna play it today for sure, like 100%. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't have it yet, but I know my guy Mike, the Modern Canadian, he was asking about he made an indicator, and so I'm wondering if it has something to do with this or something different. So hopefully him and I will chat at some point today. And then don't forget Wednesday nights. Tomorrow is Wednesday, right? Today's Tuesday? Yep. Today is Tuesday all day. Tomorrow, Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern is Trade Daddies After Dark. So we handle some business here in the morning with the morning macro. And then on Wednesday nights, midweek, little Trade Daddies After Dark, man. We get maybe we'll, I don't know. I got to talk to Mike. Maybe we could do it more often, but I like having the morning and the evenings covered. Very important times of the day. Got a great show planned. We got, as you guys know, the headlines, they scroll down there. So if you're impatient as to what we're talking about, you just read those and you'll understand what's going on. But a lot of different things happening throughout the crypto space. We got some regulatory stuff. We got some ETF stuff. We've got some banking stuff, some adoption stuff. Curtis got beat today. Curtis did get beat today. GM Brian. Michael Navarro, boom, taking home the gold medal. The gold medal. I don't count because I just don't count. I'm the one who launches the stream. And so I would have taken the silver, but again, I don't count. Carrie, my guy Carrie McCook, taking it on St. Patty's Day. Taking the silver, eh? Go, ta-ta-tee, ta-ta-to. Nobody takes me Lucky Charms. It's kind of a bummer right now. I'm not exactly like in love with this coffee. We're doing our Costco run later this week, and just yesterday we ran out of the Costco coffee. The Kirkland coffee is like the best coffee on this planet, in my opinion. And so I'm out of it. And so we had just gotten like a bag of something, just like a breakfast blend of something at the store. And I tell you what, I can tell the difference. I sure can. We'll get to Costco. I know we will. But coffee is an important thing. Everybody's got their routines, right? DJ Brian's just been buying silver. Gold is good. You might want to destroy the world, Mr. Powers. Oh, what else we got? Loading up on some link. This is the time, man. I'll tell you what. It's funny. The ticker used to be there. And now the shelf is back there. I kind of rearranged. Today was day 2 of the macro minute. Got some things to work on still, I believe. My camera was acting up. I think it made it a little too blurry, so I apologize. But it is what it is. And the whole idea of the ticker was not there anymore, is over there, and because I've created this like this permanent. I'm going to put the camera on the tripod with the monitor and all that stuff, so I can shoot the macro minutes and then start shooting some just some other videos, right? whether it's about this. I'm gonna do this deep kind of like series on intelligent finance, and I'm gonna stop right there. I will explain more what that means. I'm sure some of you might have an idea, but I've been reading a whole bunch of articles and looking at a bunch of things, and um, intelligent finance. I feel like this is the next step. So I got like a 6-part series that I'm kind of I was like sketching out yesterday, just like what they would be, and then probably start writing on that and start recording on that soon. But Fridays, I feel like will be a good day to release that as like actual videos for the channel. So it's time to start getting back to doing that. Obviously, we got the macro minutes, we got the morning macro live stream, and then we're gonna start doing some deeper dives on some stuff and creating some other videos. So I hope you guys are enjoying the content, and we'll clip it all so that there are short forms, so we can have that offering for the people who like the 15 to 45-second stuff. And boom, there we go. All right, I think this is a great time to start the show. Thank you guys for being here. What an intro! What an intro! All right, let's bring this up. Here is the Coin Glass Fear and Greed Index. Today is at 27. Yesterday was at 24. So we are obviously going on up. Let's look at the week. In fear, 2 days. Extreme fear, 5 days in the last week. Let's see, last month. Extreme fear for most of it. Fear for the last 3 days. And so, again, I'm not exactly convinced that it's really interesting, right? Extreme greed is red. Extreme fear is green. That makes sense. Buy, sell. Buy, sell. Buy in the fear, sell in the greed. That's how you make money, literally. Like you can't lose if you did that. Like even if you bought in the extreme fear and sell in the fear, you would have made money, right? Because you would have bought like in the 60s and it's up in the 70s, damn near 75 today. Let's take a look. Let's refresh coin market cap, y'all. The global crypto market cap, 2.53 trillion. It's pretty flat today, 0.72%. So we've had a little bump in the road, a little bit, little bump in the road here, little bump in the road here. But for the most part, we're just staying flat, just chilling. Today, I think we'll probably, Tuesdays and Wednesdays are the big volatility days, a lot of liquidity days. And so we'll see what happens, right? Fear and greed index here on coin market cap is at 43. So definitely that gap continues to continue on. Altcoin season at a 48. Let's go down and check our shrimps. Where's Bitcoin at? It is at 15%. It was 17.5 yesterday, down to 15, or up, I guess, 15 today. Anything down here in the shrimping boats? ENA, Arbitrum, Say, Bitget, Aptos, SPX, Aave, Mint, Aerodrome, Sure Injective, Ondo, Sweet. I would probably stop at the 30%. Right, I would stop there, right? Like, so you could definitely. Let's make sure let's do this, boys and girls. Yarg, matey. My name's Captain J. Chains, and I'm gonna take me shrimping boats out into the bay. Let's go look for some shrimps. What are we gonna find, hey? That being said, I don't know what just happened there. You could get yourself, like reputable tokens that are in here, like Arbitrum, sure. You want that? Great. Say, sure. Great. Pick it up. I'm not an exchange token kind of guy, so I wouldn't be getting the BitGet token. Aptos, maybe, not my jam. Aave, there's a lot of DeFi on Aave, a lot of DeFi. That could be a good opportunity to get yourself some Aave if it is down. Let's take a look at the chart ski. It's down 33%. The all-timer. Let's take a look at this on the other chart, because we, obviously on this all-time, you've got, a lower high here, and it looks, like a trend line. And so one would expect that it is either going to not get higher than this here, which is $357, or it is going to blow past that. And at $121 right now, I feel like it's starting to ramp up. This could be the opportunity to get yourself some Aave. Let's look at Aave chart. I'll write myself a note. So when we get to TradingView, we'll pull up Aave. And if there's any other coins that you guys want to look at while we're on there, just let me know. Just put them in the chat. Make some noise. Put them in the chat. Okay, let's go back here. Close Aave. So down 33% in the last 90 days. Yeah, that's what shrimping is. In case you're new here, in case you're new to the show, first off, thanks for being here. Honestly, you could be doing anything, but you are here. Cheers. Have some coffee. Get yourself 1% better. This is called shrimping. This is where we look at the top 100 coins over the last 90 days, and we judge their performance. David, GM. And our this is, Bitcoin is the king. So we always want to check where this is at. It's down 15%. So let's see. Obviously, if you've got some overperformers, like this would be like really good opportunities. And I think this would be my strategy, right? Like if I'm in something that is outperforming Bitcoin, that would be the time to sell, take profits, and put it into Bitcoin. Let's do that. If you have any one of these coins that is outperforming Bitcoin, sell it now for that profit because you're outperforming Bitcoin. Get your profit before things change, because I'm telling you, things will change. Things could change in a heartbeat. Sell it, take your profits now, and buy your Bitcoin and send it to cold storage. Get yourself. Damn it. Let me hit him on myself again. This makes so much mess trying to find these things. I don't know where they went. But I got those tangent wallets somewhere. At some point, we're going to do a giveaway. But the whole idea is get yourself some Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin, DCA your Bitcoin, turn your dust into Bitcoin, get yourself a Tangent wallet, use code JChains. In a little bit, there'll be a QR code. You can scan that, or you can just go to the Tangent site and put in code JChains. Or you can go to the description of this video on YouTube and click that, and that'll take you there. Get yourself, it'll save you some money. Plus, you'll get a cold storage wallet. It'll come straight to you direct from the source. You hear some people who buy their cold storage stuff on like Amazon or whatever. Don't ever do that. Buy it directly from the source. Never buy a third-party cold storage wallet. Ever. All right. That was enough. All right. There's a BitUnex QR code too. If you want to join the squad, we are, man, the team is growing. The squad is growing. It's great. I got just like a couple of you have sent me your UIDs. I want some more of you guys to be doing that. So that this way, we can make sure that, people get rewards sometime. And like, we're just going to build all sorts of part of the ecosystem. Plus I'm going to build a specific thing in the Discord that if you are actively trading with us on BitUnex, like you'll get the access in there. Right, you'll get access to that stuff because you're on the trade squad, and I think that's a fair thing. If you are trading with us and you're showing your P&Ls and all that stuff, you should have access to all that stuff in there with us and talking all that stuff, because that's what's going to make this whole ecosystem drive more, is us getting in there, communicating, talking about what we're doing. Because I might be only looking at Bitcoin, and you might come in and be like, yo, dog, like, look at this, this coin right here. It is down. Man, I almost pointed at Litecoin. Let's trade SWI. I've seen some chats about SWI that it's probably going to be a good time to start trading that. So you never know. You might be a SWI junkie, and you can lend a hand to the community of, look, this is kind of like, the inside information from, being staring at the chart. 'Cause not inside information. That was not the right thing to say. You have the insight. That's what I was looking for, because you're constantly looking at that chart. Like I understand the Bitcoin chart, because at this point, and even like most of my trading career, like I have traded altcoins as well. But it's for the most part always been Bitcoin, because it's the king. It moves the most. It moves the first. That's just what it is, and there it is. So, well, it's not chain. They can put they can put shit on it to trap you. Absolutely. Not only that too, like it's very easy for like say you ordered a cold storage wallet from Amazon. What's to say that someone didn't buy that, open it up, get the seed phrase, right? You understand? Like this has happened to people, like with multiple times with like many instances, and so they get the cold storage wallet. The seed phrase has already been like stored by someone else, who then shrank wrap it and sent it back and said, no, no, like it's unopened, never needed it, whatever. And then it just got resent back out to someone else, who then opened it, and then they loaded it up, bada bing, bada boom. The person had the seed phrase, and then they were able to control the funds. And so, never under any circumstances ever buy a cold storage wallet or crypto products from a third party vendor. That's just a no no, an absolute no no. Buy it directly from the company. And you don't have to get a Tangent wallet. I think I get it. Like if you don't want Tangent, don't use Tangent. But don't go to Amazon to get your ledger. Don't go to I don't know, wherever what else people shop to buy that shit. Just get it straight from the source. And don't use Ledger. Ledgers, they've been hacked more times than freaking anybody. And Trezor sucks. I got a Trezor as a thing to review back in the Meta Money days. And I'll tell you what, that thing was sorry, Trezor, was like the biggest hunk of shit plastic I have ever seen. And as soon as I opened it, I started laughing. I was like, I'm not even going to do the review, because like I would never put my crypto on this thing ever. If you look at it, it would break. All right, let's get into all right, we're done here. We're done with the shrimping, right? Go get your shrimps. Go get your shrimps. Let's look at. We reported before, crypto market cap altogether at 2.51 trillion. There you go. You don't really need the VWAP indicators on that one. The others chart. This is our indicator for. We can get this thing on the daily here, and we probably should have done the total. Let's look at the total on the daily. That would make more sense. We got a long way to go. Long way to go to get back up. The others. Now this again, this is your absolute key indicator for an altcoin season is the others chart, because what this is everything. It's the market cap of absolute everything outside of the top 10. So no Bitcoin, no Ethereum, none of the high stable coins like Tether and USDC. And you don't have like XRP, Solana. You don't have, do you have Cardano? Is Cardano in here today? Cardano is out. Cardano has been pushed, ladies and gentlemen, by $300 million. Hyperliquid has taken over the 10th position. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. Stable coin market cap, 315 billion. We'll take a look at this when we go over to the RWA section. I like the chart and the information there a little bit better on rwa.xyz. I feel like they do a little bit better of a job. This is too scattered for me. Bitcoin dominance. Oh, this is CME. Bitcoin dominance coming in at 5906. So we have just like flatlined. This thing has not really been able to. That's not really a good look at that either. That doesn't quite work. But this is just dominance anyway. I for a very long time expected us to hit 70% dominance, but maybe there's just way too much dilution with all of the millions and millions of coins to ever see that again, unless there was like a meme coin incinerator where you were to absolutely, I mean, I don't know how this would work in order to absolutely clean up the space and to get rid of the 37 million dog shits that are out there. I don't know. That's interesting. That's interesting how we could figure that out. Man, I still got to update that graphic. We're like, damn, I did a couple scalps yesterday. We're at like 1,600 in our account, up to the $1,000 to $10,000 challenge. And then don't forget, I'm talking about this graphic right here. Don't forget, we're going to be launching a $100 to $1,000 trade competition. There'll be prizes and all that shit. That's going to be coming up next week, maybe. Probably next week. So that's why it's important to get in there, get your accounts going, because right now there's the deposit bonus. And so if you were to start your account and deposit some funds, there's like a couple day waiting period, and then you get free money for doing that. So it would be advantageous to sign up for the account now, deposit the money. It's a 20% deposit bonus. And then you got, so say you put $100 in there, you're going to get $20, right? Deposit bonus. So now you got 120 to trade with. Or, you could keep the 100 in there and just trade with that 20 and then build that up. And then, or obviously you got to start with the 100, whatever it is. But the whole idea is $100 to $1,000 trade competition. We're going to be launching that. So get in, get your account started, get those things funded and ready to roll, because next week we're going to have a little fun. All right. The Bitcoin price. Let's go on a different chart. So, we'll take a look at the big. Look, we're still technically in a downtrend, right? But we're getting close. And look at yesterday and today. This is the daily, right? Look, yesterday, and I had erased what I had put for the cup and handle. But it would have gone up to like 77. Oh, there you go. Well, we got to zoom in on that. Let's go to the 48-minute. Oh, yeah, no, it's there. So yesterday, I had put out like, look, I think we're going to form this little cup and handle here. Damn near close. It came a little short, but it did. We come up here. We came to the top. We tested it. We got rejected, sent back down, and then made another attempt, and then ultimately tapped out. Just under 76,000. So it was a good run at that cup and handle. Damn near close, but it didn't fully play out all the way to the neckline of the entire movement. But we're back in action today, sitting at 73,758 currently. So that is your Bitcoin chart. I would think with our price where it is at and the daily up there, and it looks like I would assume today's going to be like one of these kind of days, and then we'll come back up a little bit later this afternoon, and that's a little bit too long. I think that we'll come down for a little bit this morning, and then we'll pop back up. And then obviously with the daily, the VWAP, this thing will continue as long as price action keeps pushing. This will continue to push down, and then at some point it'll level off. And I think once we get around there, that's when it'll come up and touch it. So if you have the leapfrog indicator, just be watching the daily. It always comes back. Always comes back. And so that was part of like the back testing was a little bit easier before the update, but at the end of the day, like I've had it now long enough to understand. I don't need to really back test too much anymore. Like I see how it works. I do like some of these other things that are up here now, where you've got like previous day highs, previous day lows, just a little bit different of some lining and some understanding of some of the price targets and all that stuff. So if you've got the leapfrog indicator, great. Drop it in the chat. Let me know if you're using it. If you do want, knowing where some of these things are at, like again, I would put in a long at some point today, knowing that again, I'm waiting for the 9:30 candle. This is my trade thesis for today. This is what I'm doing. I'm gonna study that 9:30 candle on the 15-minute time frame, and once it breaks out of its zone, we'll consider entering either a long or short, depending on which direction it is. And I would think probably what's going to happen if I was a psychic, if I was to guess, this is what I think is going to happen. Generally, we're kind of heading down. We're going to continue to just maybe start to do that, and then at some point, we will head back up towards the daily. But I think that we're going to open up with a short opportunity, and then at some point flip that into a long. That's what I think is going to happen. Just generally because look, you're trending until you're not. We're trending down. We have a little bit of a higher low, but that could change very easily. And again, everything for me is off the table for the next hour. This is just positioning. I wouldn't try to catch a trade. I wouldn't try to put too much thought into it for me personally at this particular moment, because I'm going to be waiting for 9:30. So we're watching it, we're looking at it, we're studying it, but we're not really making any moves until we see where we're at in an hour, which I think will probably be down here a little bit more. And from there, we'll have an opportunity to figure out this low 73 range, maybe even high 72s. That's probably where we'll settle. But we'll see. You never know. You never know. Look, some of these candles the Bitcoin can move quick. You guys know that. You guys can know that. Short out of that thing. Sometimes you got a hawk two on that thing. Short that thing. All right, let's get into some news. Let's rip through it. U.S. spot Bitcoin ETFs mark longest inflow run since October. Woo! Swim with the whales, baby. We'll take a look at the ETF charts and see where things are settled. Let's go through this. The TLDR, love that. U.S. listed Bitcoin ETFs recorded their 6th consecutive day of net inflows yesterday. The funds attracted 199 million in net inflows during the latest trading session. BlackRock iShares Bitcoin Trust led with 139 million in new capital. Fidelity Wise Origin Bitcoin Fund followed with 64 million in inflows. Big difference. Yeah, that's why the emphasis is always on what BlackRock is doing, because BlackRock moves more than anybody else consistently. That's the most important. Swim with the whales, man. Total net flows since March 9th have reached 962.8 million. Almost a billy. Billy. Let's see. Data shows funds attracted 200 million in net inflows as Bitcoin climbed 12.5% during the period. The latest figures mark the longest run of fresh capital into the products since October of 2025. Does that mean that we've bottomed? October 2025. That was D-Day, man. That was D-Day. Interesting. Remember, we always got to be read between the lines of what they're saying. It might be the machine might be turned back on. Bitcoin ETFs. Bitcoin price rises as sentiment improves. Hello. Oh, look at my little leprechaun. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Want to come say hi? No? You look cute in your green bows. All right. Yeah, I forgot about that, guys. Happy St. Patrick's Day out there to all of y'all. David, I don't know what the indicator. I've used Anchored VWAPs and the 5DMA a long time. Both are taught by Brian Shannon. Anchored VWAPs is a great book by him. Leapfrog would have some setting. Yeah. Definitely going to check that out. I will take a look at that. Thank you, David. There we go. And let's look at our ETF charts. As you guys know, we love looking at the CoinGlass ETF charts. This is for Bitcoin. That's what we were talking about right here. Look at that. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. BlackRock controls the show. This FBTC, which one is that? Is that Fidelity? FBTC? Fidelity Wise. Yeah. Okay. That's what it said in the story. So, as you can see, these two are running pretty much in tandem right now. Here was a little bit different of a day right here, but if they're inflowing together, it looks like. Oh, that's a total. Okay. And that's a summary. Cool. That's from January 11th of 2024 up until March 2nd of this year. So big numbers from BlackRock, 776.75 thousand. That's a lot. That's a lot of capital when you think about it. That's why he's swimming with the whales, man. There you go. There it is. I caught it. There's the Tangent QR code. If you need yourself a cold storage wallet, you're going to turn some of those dusties, some of those skid mark meme coins that you bought that have just tarnished your wallet, dust them out, put it into Bitcoin, throw it in cold storage. Excuse me. All right. So here is our inflow outflow map with the Bitcoin price. And as you can see, look, the most important right here is at the end, because we've done this before where you start to see the concentration of inflows and there was a direct relation to the price. And we have only ever crossed that threshold of zero. Well, I don't know how we're doing that with the price. We've only ever, I mean, I think that the point of it is, look, we've started to see a lot more inflows than outflows. The price is curling up right here at the bottom, as you can see, right here at the end. So, like, I think we're making moves to start getting inflows like up here, and if we do, the price is going to go back up here. We may be in for a little bit of a relief. Remember, this is not the bull run. We're not in the bull run now. Does crypto like to do the opposite of what we think it's going to do? Yes, 100%. That's the game. And so if everybody's calling for, another dip down, then Bitcoin will do what it wants to do. This looks bullish to me. I will tell you, this looks bullish. Again, we talk about it every day. The headlines, they couldn't be any less bullish. You got Luxembourg. Yesterday they put a percent of their sovereign fund into Bitcoin. Okay, you're seeing mass inflows of institution ETFs. That's a key indicator. You swim with the whales. Like, again, we're going to go through some of these headlines. The next headline, Citigroup. This is not a good one. But this is, to me, is just a FUD article. This doesn't mean anything, right? Citigroup cuts their 12-month Bitcoin and ETH target as U.S. crypto legislation stalls. Well, I think that's a little misleading, right? Citigroup, they cut it down based on a lot of things. Let's see. The Wall Street brokerage lowered its 12-month Bitcoin price forecast to 112,000 from 143,000, and their Ethereum estimate from 3175 or to 3175 from 4304. Regulatory catalysts will drive further adoption of flows, but the window of opportunity for U.S. legislation this year is narrowing, Citi strategist Alex Saunders said in a note on Monday. Bitcoin could drop to 50. They also said that it could drop to 58,000 and Ether to 1,200. But its bull case, driven by stronger end investor demand, puts Bitcoin as high as 165,000 and ETH at 44. ETH not to 10K anymore, man. Nobody's talking about that. I think that's the sleeper. At some point, that one is going to rip. ETH is going to rip at some point. It's going to have like an old school Bitcoin style run, or it's just going to go bananas. And hopefully we're long when that happens. ETH will be especially sensitive to user activity metrics, which have been weak recently, but stablecoin and tokenization trends may increase interest and usage. We know that. Stablecoin, sure. The interest is there all around the board. Tokenization is really what's going to fuel, in many ways, is what's going to fuel the adoption of blockchain to technology and finance, right? Like, Bitcoin is Bitcoin. Blockchain is the other thing. Tokenization is part of that. And I know like a lot of chains are messing with tokenization. Some are not. I think that it's a good thing that, that's maybe some stay in their lane. Like, if that's not your thing, like, don't just hop on it because it's a bandwagon trend. Bitcoin. We love the Bitcoin. It tells me it might be the time to buy. News goes negative. Time to start buying. No, 100%, man. That's the FUD articles. The FUD articles are just to weed out the weak, right? Like, they see this headline, they're like, "Oh no, that's they got a bad forecast for Bitcoin, honey. We better sell it. You better sell the Bitcoin, honey." No, you're right. You're right. When they're calling for FUD calls, you do the opposite. Because then here, look, this is on the other side. Clear regulations seen to drive institutional adoption of crypto tokenized assets. Again, we know where this is going. Sandy Cool, she's awesome. I've heard her speak a couple times, a couple different events. She's great. and she's with Franklin Templeton. Institutional adoption of tokenized assets will accelerate once financial regulators provide clear guidance for additional asset investments, and that's according to Sandy. Standard Chartered predicts the value of global tokenized assets will grow sixfold over 10 years to reach some 30 trillion by 2034. The numbers are back on the table in the big trillies for RWA and tokenization. And that's why it's so freaking important, guys. It is so freaking important. Let's see what Sandy said here. In Asia and across the globe, we are still in the early stages of awareness, where interest and understanding are building around tokenized products and cryptocurrencies. 100%. 100%. Institutional adoption may take time, especially since many of them have not been fully up to speed on their internal initiatives. And that's really interesting that, that's making, an article like this, because there were, some of the conversations that, you have with people that are in a traditional world, right? The traditional finance world. And this is, coming out of some conversations specifically from the Ondo Summit. And it's, it is segmented off. And even, it's funny, even that I say that, there was I was at the, it was like a Atlanta tech conference last year. I cannot remember the name of it, and I apologize. And there was Fidelity was there. Fidelity, and it ended up being basically like a dev job fair kind of a thing. It was a conference, but there was a lot of hiring going on, and Fidelity was there. Fidelity, I believe it was. And so they were there talking about some of the things, and I went up and I was excited to talk about crypto, and the guy was just like, "Oh no, man! Like we have like a whole department that deals with that. I don't know anything about it." And it's like, damn, that's a missed opportunity. But like, okay, I get it. And so it's really interesting that you see it in an article like that, because like, if you are in a major corporation or an institution, just because they are looking at crypto or tokenization or blockchain does not mean that every aspect of that company is. And some have no idea what the tokenization or blockchain initiatives are in their company. And that's crazy. Let's see. As markets sharpen their requirements around custodial standards, disclosures, asset segregation, internal controls, and capital treatment, mass institutional adoption will follow. 100%, Sandy. With more innovation, capital, and adoption moving into institutional grade infrastructure, interoperability, and scalable integrations will help bring the global 100 trillion asset management industry on chain. Guys, I'm going to pour myself a little bit more hot coffee. This is all I got. Ooh, a little bit of a cheers. We're not steaming anymore. That's all right. We are not early to crypto anymore. We're not early to crypto anymore. It's out. The secret's out. Now you got to find the right niches. Now you got to find what has the value. Now you got to find where you think the opportunity lies. And I think in tokenization, there's going to be some key players in there. In different aspects, there's going to be key players. Link will have their role. I believe Ondo will have their role. HBAR will have their role, at a pretty high level. And there will be others that have their role. But at the end of the day, man, we're not early to crypto anymore. We're just early to some of these verticals. Hello. Ooh, what do I get? Gummy bears? It was on the chimney? It wasn't on. Here, come on over here. Talk to him. Tell me what just happened. You don't want to come on the show? Here, you can take. I saw a gnome. I saw little gnomes hanging. Oh, so a little leprechaun brought you some candy? Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to report that a little leprechaun has brought my daughter some candy. It must be the St. Patty's Day leprechaun. Came into our house. I don't know. I don't know anything about this. Wow. You got gummy bears and a chocolate bar? They are super small because we have the little leprechaun trap outside. He must have snuck in.
I know. Because remember the little cracks, the little openings in our door? Maybe that's how they got in.
Probably. That's probably what happened. All right. That's what happened. All right. I love you. Good morning. You take your gummy bear. All right, back to the news. Let's just go to the next article here. SEC advances narrower exemption for tokenized securities. Again, like guys, like it's just the U.S. SEC is developing a limited innovation exemption for tokenized securities, according to Commissioner Hester Peirce, marking a more restrained approach than broader proposals previously discussed by industry advocates. Let's see here. What else we got? The group warned that sweeping relief might undermine transparency around ownership rights, reduce oversight of trading intermediaries, and weaken order handling standards. Said the committee recommended a targeted rule by rule. All right. What did Paul Atkins, what does he say? Is there any quotes in here? No. Let's go to this SEC article. Because I like this. I like where this one is going. Because this is not something that the SEC did previously. Right? It wasn't an invitation to, come on, let's talk, let's figure this out. I'm sure that, that they understand that the people who are crypto native have a little bit better understanding of what's going on and can probably explain things. And then maybe from there, we can create proper rules and regs, right? I believe that this is a great next step compared to where we have been. The tech fair I was talking about, they had it. Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, it ended up being a good time, David. It ended up being a pretty good event. I had a good time talking to a lot of good companies over there. Again, nothing really that I needed, other than just kind of learning what was up and what some of the initiatives that people were working on, in different verticals. But let's get back here. SEC Hester Peirce encourages firms exploring tokenization to come in and talk to us. There she is, Hester. Peirce said that the SEC is not a merit regulator, emphasizing that the agency does not decide whether financial products are good or bad investments. The commissioner said new ETF and tokenized product proposals may require regulators to work through legal, technical, and operational questions. All right, here we go. Here's a quote from Hester. It is really a come in and talk to us about what you're trying to do. Peirce said, we want to work with you toward being able to experiment to see whether the market wants your products. That's really interesting. That's very a different hands-on approach to what we saw, where it was enforcement by regulation, a lot of no, pushing away. I mean, clearly the idea of we're trying to bring innovation of blockchain and crypto back into the United States after a lot of it went offshore, over the last several years with a different administration, and this one being a little bit more pro-crypto across the board, right? I think, it's a bipartisan issue. It doesn't have to be one or the other. It doesn't have to be for Republicans or Democrats. It's for anybody, because this is where finance is going, and no matter how you slice it or dice it, that's the future. It's the future of money. It's the future of finance. It's the future of everything. There we go. Leverage scrutiny. Peirce also addressed the SEC's recent scrutiny of highly leveraged exchange-traded funds, noting that while the agency does not evaluate whether products are inherently good or bad investments, it must ensure they comply with statutory limits and disclosure requirements. All right. Any other quotes? People have come to us and said, we really think tokenization has potential here. It's going to be a freaking game changer, man. Like literally, especially for settlements, for, I think, transparency, a lot of different reasons other than number go up, right? I think obviously we've got to we're in it to make money. Every single one of us. Yeah, if you're in it for the tech, I get it. We're all in it for the tech, but we are in it. We are trying to make money. That's why we do things like trade, buy NFTs, and try to sell them for more money. Like that's the whole point. We're trying to help build this ecosystem, and that's part of it, right? You can't just hodl everything. Like you've got to facilitate. You got to experiment and try things, swap, bridge, try not to get hacked, I guess. You never really know with those bridges. They seem to be a little bit more trouble than they're worth at this point. But a lot of different opportunities to just really experiment within the crypto sector and try different things and be a beta tester and a bug tester and all sorts of stuff. So. And final quote from this article. Peirce said the SEC expects legal, operational, and technical questions to emerge as firms test these models, but indicate the agency wants to engage with the industry as those issues are worked through. We want to walk side by side with you as we think through those questions, she said. Love to see this. At the end of the day, I am actually a huge fan of the SEC kind of changing, flipping the script and being more like accepting or open to accepting what's going on. Because like, if you think about it, like the securities laws were from 1912, right? 1933 and 1912. Like, what? Am I right? 1912? Let's see. Securities laws 33, 34. I feel like there's a 1912 in there, but 33. Maybe not. Maybe not. There was no federal securities laws. Nope. I lied to you. It's just 33, and that's okay. Let's see. All right, let's take a look at some RWA stuff. 27 billion. Last time we looked at this, it was 26 billion, 26 and some change, 26.8. Going up every single day, guys. 27.05 billion is up almost 9% in the last 30 days, 8.54 to be exact. And as you can see, we are trending up. No correction in sight on this one. Now, obviously, we've had a little bit, right? A little bit here, a little bit here. We've had a few little corrections, but right now, little tiny ones. Right now, it looks like we are just really just moving vertical, and that is for the global market there in RWAs. Let's see. Let's look at the stable coins. This was one that we were looking at back on TradingView a little bit ago. 300 billion market cap, 300.54 billion for stable coins. There's all the different stable coins right now. You can see this is it's kind of looked like we hit a little bit of a valley, and we're getting ready to ramp back up. You never know. You never know what's going to happen. U.S. Tokenized treasuries. This is a big thing for us. Just the other day, it was at 10 billion. Now we're at 11.43. Also, this thing's been up 3.76% in the last 7 days. So trending up all the time. And again, we have not seen really any straight vertical pushes. That will happen, I believe, once we get through some regulation, once we get through some framework that ultimately assists a lot of these tokenized treasuries, a lot of the things that go into the tokenized ecosystem, the tokenized economy, if you will. A lot of that will come to fruition after those ground rules are laid. And I think you hear all the time, we're hearing estimates 2, 3 years, 5 years, something like that. I'd say anywhere between now and 20. What is it? We're in 2026. I say by 2030. That seems to be a massive metric for a lot of the things that we look at. Even some other verticals that we don't talk about too much anymore, like gaming. I think there was a lot of emphasis put on some of the games and different metaverses and ecosystems that ultimately, all that stuff takes a lot longer than most people anticipate. And so 2028 could be a decent year for gaming. 2030 would be I think, as far as blockchain adoption and like just insane growth goes, that's where we're at. We've got, obviously this year to deal with some downward action. Again, even if we look at, and we'll pull the chart up and look at this as well, but like even in previous bear markets, there are corrections that like what we're experiencing right now. And so we'll take a look at that when we get onto the charts in just a little bit after we get through some of these articles, a few more articles. Guys, great time to smash the like button. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Good morning. There you go. There's Trade Daddies. Make sure Wednesdays at 9 p.m. That's tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern. You check out Trade Daddies After Dark. All right, here we go. Versa Bank, they're trialing a tokenized deposit on Algo, ETH, and Stellar. There you go, multi-chain. That's good. This is a Canadian bank. Shout out to all my Canadian brothers and sisters out there. I hope you guys are listening. Smash the like. If you are Canadian, smash the like. If you are not Canadian, it's that easy. It's really that easy. You don't have to be Canadian, but you could be. I'm not, but I might be. I think my mom says that I'm like French Canadian sometimes. Or maybe she says that to annoy me. I don't know. Because obviously we eat freedom fries, we freedom kiss, and freedom toast if we feel like it. Most of the time we're waffle or pancake people in our house anyway. We don't French anything. And so I think my mom says that to joke around with me. Tokenized deposits positioned as stablecoin alternative. What did we talk about yesterday? Deposit tokens, right? This seems to be the deposit token thing, seems to be the bank's answer to crypto and to like, I'm taking in my mind, I feel like it's I'm taking my ball and I'm going home, right? Again, we talked about this a week or two ago. Banks are not gonna go out without a fight. Like they're not gonna allow, and I know who just posted like we don't need Jack Dorsey just said like we don't need banks anymore. We have crypto, we have Bitcoin. The whole idea of banks fighting to keep market share, to keep the access to money, to keep the system, the scam and the scheming going, they will say and do anything. And so at this point, creating something that I would think is different than the system that we've got of crypto, or at least there is, in order to get into the bank, you got to use the deposit token or however it works, right? And so this way, you can't use your Bitcoin, you can't use your stable coin, you can't use this. You've got to go through their stuff. It just seems like that's where we're going. I'm not exactly sure. We got to keep looking at this. The deposit tokens. I got to do some more research into this. This is part of the intelligent finance series that I'm putting together. So, gonna look out. The latest banking journal feature explores how banks are approaching digital assets in banking, and VersaBank's real bank deposit tokenized deposits (RBTD) platform is at the center of it. Let's go to this tweet. Let's check this out. 500 followers. Choice through innovation. The latest banking journal. Founder and president David Taylor discusses with editor-in-chief Evan Sparks why tokenized deposits are the next evolution that community banks have looked for. All right, let me take a look at that. Interesting. Macro analysts warn of credit crisis, a scenario built for Bitcoin. We already know, okay, so a credit crisis could be good for it. We already know geopolitical tensions are, again, it's down. I mean, Bitcoin's down a little bit today. But remember the chart that we looked at the other day, it was the S&P 500, it was gold, and it was Bitcoin. And we started the chart when the Iran war, conflict, World War III, whatever you want to call it, started, which was February 27th or 28th in that time frame. And you could see a clear indicator, right? All three lines are at the same point. And from there to where we pull it out, to current date, the price of Bitcoin is way up. I think, when we looked at it, it was like 10.5% up from obviously, the baseline, whereas gold and S&P 500 were both down like 3.5%, something like that. And, when you look at that, it tells you, one, it's a clear indicator that Bitcoin is an asset to go to in uncertainty. It is definitely, something that countries and people need to be paying attention to, because there's been a few times now where, it was, man, what the fuck country was it? And there was something going on, and they like shut the internet off so people couldn't access Bitcoin and crypto because they knew they were like messing. I mean, this was just like a month ago. Where was this? If you guys remember in the chat, let me know. This was, I feel like, just a month ago, right? Like there was some turmoil going on, and they shut off the internet, and people couldn't get their Bitcoin, and there's no power, and so bada boom, bada bing. It goes to show you that this is the asset to be holding, so that if your government tries to mess with you, if they try to inflate your money, if they try to cripple your infrastructure, you still have an opportunity and you still have access. And that's ultimately, at the end of the day, what we're seeing with Bitcoin. There'll be some other altcoins, obviously, that will make it and will participate in that whole thing. But right now, that's why I'm screaming at you. The emphasis is on Bitcoin. You should be dusting all your wallets for all that shit that is never going to be anything or do anything. that you take the haircut. Just take the haircut and move on. It's not coming back, and just put it into Bitcoin, and you will be happier because you will start to see it grow. And again, we may see another dip. Who knows? But you will start to see that number grow versus just living a life of regret, round tripping in a few cycles, because it's not coming back, unfortunately. A lot of those dog shits are not coming back, so move on. Morgan Stanley warns direct lending default rates could hit 8%, driven by AI disruption. It's part of this intelligent finance, guys. Private credit default rate may have already reached 5.8%, the highest since August of 2024. Bitcoin gained 10.87% since the U.S., Israel, Iran conflict began, outpacing gold, equities, and silver. We looked at that chart was that Monday? That wasn't yesterday, was it? Let's see. Let's go. Let's turn indicator off. Volume and EMAs, we'll keep those on. Let's just remove the drawings. Let's add S&P and add gold. And remember, we may make this a line. So, just so we know what's what. The green is gold. The blue bottom here is the S&P 500, and this is Bitcoin. So as you can see, definitely it is definitely taking a haircut, because when we were up here, it was, well, we were showing 10% up, but everything has moved a little bit. We're still down in the 3% range down here. We've got down 0.22% for, what was that? That was the S&P, right? Yep, the S&P down here. So gold is still down 3%. S&P getting damn near close to the break-even point of where we were when this all started. And then Bitcoin, who was up 10%, is now up just on near 5%. And so key indicator, very clear. And we'll see what the price of Bitcoin does today. Obviously, we've got 25 minutes until the markets open up. So again, it looks like we did continue to go down a little bit more. We're on the 48-minute chart. We still have a red candle. Let's put this on. Let's put it on the 5-minute and see. And let's remove gold and get rid of that. So yeah, there we go. I think we may continue to go down a little bit more. Let's do this. This is our low for the day here, right? Let's go ahead and put a alert on this. Message. Okay. Check chart. Well, we got to put a Bitcoin chart. All right. So now if we hit this line, this is that cup and handle potential. Okay, so that was from yesterday. So we're gonna delete that one. Delete. So now we are just here that we got an alarm. If we come down here and touch this bottom again, remember, it was once a stick, a wick becomes a candlestick. So that might be part of the plan for the next 20 minutes is to pop back down here. It's not that much. It's about $200 for us to pop back down here is 0.3%. That's nothing. That's nothing. A little bit, that's a drop in the bucket. So we see that come down there, touch there. That might be our indicator that it's time to go long. But we're going to watch. We're not just going to set along because we hit that line, because it may pierce and continue to go down because we are in a downtrend. However, I think we're going to want to start the day in a, I said earlier in a short, but if we can get down to this line, as long as we're not creating a lower low, we'll put another one right here as well at the bottom of these wicks. And then boom. Check BTC chart. All right. There you go. And so you all should be doing that. You see me do this in the mornings, right? Y'all should be doing this whenever you're looking at charts, you draw your lines. If you've got an idea, if you've got a thought, if you've got anything whatsoever, set yourself an alarm so that you can go about your day and so you can go on to the next chart, so you can go on to the next article, so you can go on to the next stream, so you can go for a walk with your dog, so you can go play with your daughter, so you can go talk to your wife, so that you can go to a meeting, so you can take that call. You got a life. Go live your life. Fucking just set your alarms and move on. Don't just sit there like this. Go up, go up, go up, go up. Don't do that. Stop doing that. I see people doing that. I don't really see anybody doing that, but I know people do it because I know people that do that. You got to go down to go up. You got to go up to go down. 100%. Markets are cyclical, man. That's it. That's all that they are. So, technically, we'll go Wix. So that could be what we're riding today. That could be the bottom of our. Let's do some sticks now. So if we're doing bodies and wicks, there's a couple different lines. You do what you want. You like to do sticks, great. If you like to do wicks, good for you. I'll cut them through and just call it an anomaly because sometimes it just goes right back into the same trend. Oh man. All right. Let's see here. We were on this one here. Let's go to this article here. This is from Morgan Stanley CIO. We are closer to the end of the correction. This is from Morgan Stanley CIO outlining equity market predictions amid the drawdown. So the CIO of Morgan Stanley and chief U.S. equity strategist Mike Wilson says U.S. equities may be nearing the end of their current correction as markets digest months of economic and geopolitical concerns. The key point is that before the attacks of Iran 2 weeks ago, the correction in equities was already very well advanced in both time and price. In fact, 50% of all stocks in the Russell 3000 are now down 20% from their 52-week highs. He also noted that markets have been grappling with several risks for months, including concerns about AI disrupting label markets. AI, man, everybody's worried about AI disrupting. Despite the volatility, he believes the current downturn may prove less severe than last year's drawdown due to stronger economic growth, improving earnings conditions, and greater fiscal support. Bottom line, equity markets have been digesting many of the concerns for months that are now hitting the headlines. We think this means that we are closer to the end of this correction rather than the beginning. Investors should be getting ready to buy any final capitulation that may occur on the next bad headline. Setting the stage. It looks like the stage is being set. That we saw some FUD articles. We have been seeing a lot of good articles. Maybe what we do is we make a little run up. Again, we've jumped out of the 60s. We're in the 70s. Bitcoin is at 73.7. We could see continued downward action overall, right? Just for a brief period. Let's see. Let's get off the 5 minute because it doesn't tell the same story as maybe the daily. We could come back down. We could just be ranging, right? We could play this range because look, we've done this before. Let's get the box. Let's get the box. Honey, get the box. All right, so this range right here. Mostly bodies in here, some wicks. So if we were to range kind of like this before the next movement, we could see, let's see, and let's say that was our peak. Let's just pretend that was it. And we have some more leg to go down because we do know that there's a lot of activity here. We could come back in here and it would be, think about the monumental volume support that we have. And then from there, we get our crazy wick where, we drop into the 40s, where some people, including myself, have a couple reasons to believe that is something that we will see, is another dip down into the 40s. There was a scam wick. Again, you've got a lot of activity here where you've got some support. We rushed up here. We came down here. We've not had really any support right here. So we're either going to blow right through it again, or we're going to have to fall and continue to build in this box, in this chop zone, which, again, it's higher. And that's a straight line. So, that's from the bottom of the box. Clearly, if we pull the bottom here, as long as we don't, this particular time, go lower than, say, that scam wick, we're still moving up. So there is the idea of potentially being, we're not, it doesn't say we're out of the bear market. It says it's closer. So we've got some relief, and let's look at that, because look, back in, well, we want a different chart. Because look, even when we had the double top situation here, like we had from here to here, we dropped 50%, right? And then from here to here, we dropped another 76%. So you never know what part of the cycle this may be in, where we're heading up. We could go up and double top in the 120s and then come back down and do a little bit further of a dip at some point in the future. I don't believe that that's on the cards for us this year. Maybe next year, but I think that I'm of the sound, firm believer that this is a rebuilding year. A lot of us are expecting that, hoping that, wishing for it. Maybe that could end up being wrong. But look, here's another thing that we can measure out. Let's do this. Let's go here. And this is probably where we've done this before. Let's say, like, okay, this is like, that's kind of like the last correction that we had when we were chopping here. We went sideways and then we ranged down, right? Let's see what this would look like. If we were to say, that was the bottom, and we'll go like here. Obviously, we're out of it a little bit. Bodies are more like that. Okay, so that would give us until April, right? Only a few more weeks. Today's what, the 16th, 17th? So we only got like 2 weeks until the month's over. And so, we could range, and look what happened. Look, we started to build up, we ranged out of this box, and then kapoomski. So we're on the high side of it. We could range up, we could pop up a little bit. What was just, none of these things are mathematical. I get it. But we ended up coming up about 4% up out of the box. Let's see if we come up 4% out of the box. That's like 78. So we may see a little bit of a continued rally. Look, I'm skeptical. You're in a downtrend until you're not. We've broken that trend that we were in, that you could see was right here. But we did that before. We consolidated for a few months and then we dropped. We are in that right now. We are either, and we can draw a box over it. We're either trending up hard, or we are literally doing exactly what was in here, right? And that's not, we had some dips in there and stuff, but like, you know what I mean? Like, it seems very similar. It seems very calculated and orchestrated. It is just a bull trap, excuse me. And that's what I think, because I'm of the camp that we have to see another leg down, or that we will see another leg down. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I'm prepared, obviously, that we can read the charts, we can long and we can short, so it doesn't matter. And hopefully you guys have joined our trade team, because y'all should be on it, and we should get in the Discord. I did here. Let me actually. I'm gonna do that for your happy St. Patty Day. You know, we got the crew in there. We got some people yucking it up. Love to see that. I'm gonna drop this in the chat. If you are watching the YouTube, I just put the Discord in there, and let me actually open up. I can open up X, and there you go. I put the Discord link in the X chat as well. So if you want to join the Discord today, go for it. Hop in there. There is the free community section, general chat. Just get to the. Make sure you check out the rules and do what you got to do, and that'll give you your member badge. So, and if you got any problems, you know, give me a holler. Let me know, and we'll get you squared away. But definitely get into the Discord. Get your BitUnex account. Get that funded. We are going to be doing our $100 to $1,000 competition starting next week, and so you're going to want to be in there and ready to roll. So, and who knows? We may be long in next week. We may be short in next week. We have got, again, until the end of the month, according to this box. This is not scientific. This is not the end all be all. This is not the proof of what's going to happen. I'm just saying history likes to repeat itself. It doesn't rhyme, but look, a heavy down, consolidation, heavy down, consolidation, very similar in structure. So we're cautiously optimistic that, you know, this potentially could have been the reversal and we head back up for a continued rally, maybe push back up to the hundreds, which would be wild. Let's pull that back up so you guys can see that. You know, right here, you know, if this was the reversal and we are headed back up, you know, that ultimately would bring us back into the 100s probably pretty quick, because, you know, this, when we do come out of these corrections, we'll go up pretty quick. So we'll see how it goes, right? Just hang in there and get that stuff ready to roll. We did that. Our last article of the day, and this is a cool one. This was on the morning macro this morning, or the macro minute, excuse me. T. Rowe Price files updated S1 for a basket ETF featuring Shiba Inu. And there's a couple other coins in there. I believe it's Bitcoin, ETH, Litecoin, SHIB, and let's see, let's just go grab them in here. Where is it? Here it is. Bitcoin, Ethereum, SHIB, XRP, Litecoin, and Dogecoin. I would personally not invest in this ETF because I don't think it is worth putting money in Shiba Inu, Litecoin, and Dogecoin. That is just my opinion. That is where I'm at in my crypto journey, is that I'm not interested in those. I feel like there are so many other meme coins for people to invest in, that those legacy coins they're not what they once were. What's the fucking appeal? Like, you're not part of the community. Like, you don't have the voice unless you're Shibtoshi, who made the $1 billion. No one gives a fuck that you're a Shiba Inu investor. No one cares, right? But if you're a smaller meme coin investor, you're one of the people. And that's what people want. They want to feel important. People don't want to feel like a nobody. And being a Shib investor, you're not. Who are you in the Discord? Who are you in the voice chat? Who are you on the spaces? Nobody. You're nobody. But when you part of the community, that's why the meme coins, the smaller tokens, the utility tokens, the proof of community, that's why that exists. And those will always be, in my opinion, way more highly regarded than a fucking Shiba Inu or a Dogecoin. 100%. Litecoin, whatever. Why not just buy Bitcoin? It's literally the same fucking thing, except for everybody cares about Bitcoin. Nobody cares about Litecoin. Sorry, Litecoin. Charlie Lee didn't even care about Litecoin, and that's why he sold his at the top. And I don't want to hear about the conflict of interest, because you know it's bullshit. You don't time the top and then make an excuse and people accept that. That is not appropriate. Here we go. And why? Okay, so back to this. Again, this is great. This is absolutely massive for crypto. And you guys hear me talk about this. Look, I wouldn't invest in this ETF. I think it's horse shit. This is dog shit. But what it does is that it opens up exposure, right? And the more of things that we have like that, these baskets with obscure coins and smaller, less known things, ultimately is how we get the index fund. And if you know anything about TradFi, that's where the money is. And we need real index funds. And I know that we've got a few, but we need a larger amount of really good index funds. Like the index fund that I would create would be Bitcoin. And okay, so how many do they have in here? 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so my 6 coin ETF. Video coming out. I'm gonna do a video on my 6 coin ETF. Like, these are great. Again, it's great news for crypto. I would launch my own 6 coin ETF that I think would outperform everything. Absolutely. I'm like, people community, that's why I'm here. All about community. I like privacy act of Litecoin. I was devastated when Visa yanked their Litecoin Visa debit card. Oh man, sorry to know that. Can I show the chart? Which chart, Luca? Which chart? I can definitely show the chart. You just let me know which one you want to see. The Litecoin chart? I'll just do a Litecoin chart just in case. Oh, the BTC's dip zones. Okay. Well, let's look at the Litecoin chart really quick. Let's look at this on the weekly. And ultimately, that is just my opinion, and it doesn't quite matter. Look at that. It's 246%. Okay, it looked like a tighter range. But one thing I will tell you. Look at this. You're on the low side of what looks like the potential for this thing to keep going higher. Now, obviously, the one thing that has against it is and we'll do bodies there. And so, like, it did technically make lower highs. And lately it's been pushing lower lows. And so we're in a little bit of a downtrend. We're kind of in a multi-year open uptrend with higher highs occasionally. So Litecoin, we'll see. It's not my favorite. Now, the community, I will tell you, I have been to the Litecoin Summit many years in a row, and the community there is great. The people are fantastic. I'm not invested in Litecoin. It may actually end up being a pretty good long opportunity, especially if, let's do this. In the sake of message. Long LTC here. There you go. So if we touch this line again, maybe we should. Well, we'll know to take a look at the chart because we technically double bottomed here. So that being said, we can probably move some of these things out. All right. So this we'll put there. That is where we potentially will get into a Litecoin long. And this right here is what we will call generational LTC bottom. Now that is a generational bottom right there. You can rest assured that if it does dip below there, this line, this bottom one right here, it probably is not going to last very long. And it is going to definitely make you some money because the point of control is way higher than that. If you say you were to scoop something up down here, it is a 2x back to the point of control, which ultimately, in my opinion, that's the money line, right? Like that's where down below it, you probably struggled. Up above it, you've made some good money, right? And so to get back up there is a 2x from the bottom here. So be paying attention to that. Set limit orders 100%. Set yourself, if you don't want to put your capital into an order at this particular moment waiting, you don't have to. Set yourself an alarm so that if this happens in a week, if this happens in 2 weeks, if this happens in a month, you don't have your capital tied up for an order limit. You know that you'll get an alert, you'll get an email, you'll get a text message, you'll get something, you'll get your computer dinging at you, you'll get a webhook in your Discord, whatever it is, saying now's the time, make it happen. So, all right, that's Litecoin. Let's see. You show the chart, the Bitcoin dip zone. Okay, so this is where we're at. We're in the, this is the weekly. Let's get off of this back onto the 48-minute. Let's remove the box because it just makes it harder to see. So we have, let's see. We have an alert that's going off right here. We're going to get rid of that one. Delete. Yep. And that one is set up to a webhook. And I have those going to the Discord, the 1% Better TA. It should have been on something very specific. And I think that that was tied to now just a price action movement. And we don't want that anymore. We like, if it's going to be like tied to like the 50-day or, the 21, whatever it is, like we want to tie our alerts to that. So if we cross a specific line on a very specific time frame, we know that it's like, okay, move's happening, and it's happening because this. Excuse me. Alarms work great, but they tick my wife off when they wake her up at 1, 2, 3 in the morning. 100%. That's very true. That is very true, and that's why you just got to be up all night. I'm a little bit different than most. I have changed my my pattern of sleep. I've been like falling asleep a little bit earlier lately, and I'm up at like 3:30 in the morning, kind of getting ready, looking at information, starting to pull at charts, and really getting my research done, because with the show at 8, I've got just a handful of hours to make sure that I've got the right stuff. And obviously the one thing that stinks about the show at 8 is that we're looking at a lot of news from yesterday. Sometimes there are some articles that come out in the morning, sometimes it's articles that come out at night, and I will always be pulling the most up-to-date stuff that we can, and frequent news and headlines and stuff. But there we go. All right, so we are getting damn near close. It is 9:30, so it is 9:28. Wait, what? I meant the 15-minute. Let's remove some drawings. I forgot the command. Oh, here. Let's do this. Well, now we got it, but all right. So here's what we're doing. And I'm going to get off here in just a second, guys. I'm just going to show you. So now we are on the 9:30 candle. And what we'll do, and this is what you do. You just sit here, and as the candle moves, you raise the I call them the goalposts. You just raise the goalposts up or down, depending on where the price action is. And from there, after we close this first candle, then it's game on. Look at it. It's just hanging tight in this little zone here for right now. It'll break out. And again, we're creating this zone based on this closed out candle. So we got to get to 9:45 before, anything is said or done anyway. And so look, there we go. We're making a move up. We make it wider. Oh yeah, there we go. And you could be, I'm not, you guys could be in trades right now. I'm not. I'm specifically waiting for this candle to do its thing, and from there, we make our move. And so be on the lookout. You'll see, it'll be very clear which direction it goes when it does happen. So Be on the lookout for that. I'm sure there'll be some more information we'll share with you tomorrow night on Trade Daddies After Dark. That was a thing that goes on there. This is the one for today, the show, Morning Macro. So, all right, that'll do it for today. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much. Make sure that you smash the like button on your way out of here. Number one thing you can do to help me out is smash the like button, drop comments, tag your friends if you're watching on X. Do the things you got to do. Repost the video out. Say, hey, we're having a good time. We're learning some things. This is a great way to start the morning. I appreciate you. The show appreciates you. That's for sure. Here's some more coffee. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll definitely be back tomorrow morning. Ciao for now, mi amigo.